No one ever imagined that a seemingly simple story, two young actors brought together in one project, would turn into an emotional storm that shook the hearts of millions of fans. The relationship between Ziyu and Tian Xuning was not just a rumor, not just a small spark, but a powerful current that moved quietly yet left a deep mark. Everyone began to ask the same question: who actually made Ziyu feel that love? Was there someone behind the scenes forcing it? Or did those feelings grow on their own, without any orders, without any script? At the beginning of their journey, when filming had just started and everyone was still trying to adjust, no one expected that Ziyu's first glance at Tian Xuning would be the beginning of all this commotion. She looked at him as if the world had suddenly silenced all other sounds, as if she had forgotten that hundreds of cameras and staff were watching her. The gaze was too deep for a coworker, too honest to be just acting, and too fragile to be something planned. Fans noticed the strangeness long before the production team felt it. Although there was never any admission, something had changed since the first day they met. The longer they filmed together, the clearer it became that the energy between them was not something that could be forced. Rumor had it that the producer was encouraging the two of them to build chemistry so that the scenes they performed would look lively and touching. "Strengthen the emotions" were the words that were often heard from behind the monitor. Ziyu, who was known to be professional, followed the instructions. He tried to open up, match the rhythm of her feelings, adjust his expressions, and build closeness so that the characters they played would blend together naturally. However, something happened in the process. What was supposed to be just professional work turned into something that could no longer be controlled. Without realizing it, Ziyu began to pay attention to Tian Xuning even when the camera was turned off. Tian Xuning's small gestures, the way he brushed his hair, his soft but infectious laugh, his light footsteps as he walked closer. All of these slowly filled the spaces that Ziyu had kept sterile. He felt forced, but not by the producer, not by the script, not by anyone else, but by his own heart. There was something about Tian Xuning that made it impossible for him to look away. Meanwhile, Tian Xuning, with her warm and friendly personality, was the main catalyst for this complicated dynamic. Her natural attitude, the gentleness in her eyes, and the way she paid attention to small details about Ziyu created a warmth that could not be ignored. Every time Tian Xuning looked at Ziyu, a small smile appeared, a smile that had never appeared before with any of his other coworkers. Fans quickly picked up on this and shared it on social media. "This isn't acting," they said. "It's too real." What really stole the public's hearts was how the two interacted with each other when they thought no cameras were recording. In several leaked behind-the-scenes clips, it was clear how Ziyu stood closer than she should have, how her hand accidentally touched Tian Xuning but wasn't pulled back, how Tian Xuning looked a little nervous, but never pulled away. In those moments, there were no directors giving instructions, no script, and no coercion. There were only two people smiling at each other, paying attention to each other, and sinking into each other's presence. Fans became even more excited when they noticed a real change in Ziyu. He, who was usually quiet and kept his distance, suddenly seemed more open when he was close to Tian Xuning. There was a different light in his eyes, as if just hearing Tian Xuning's voice could soften him. When Tian Xuning laughed, Ziyu smiled even before knowing what was funny. When Tian Xuning felt tired, he would immediately offer her a drink or gently massage her shoulders. All these actions seemed so natural, so spontaneous, and so thoughtful, things that no one could force. But behind all that warmth, there was immense invisible pressure. The entertainment world demands perfection. They know that relationships that are too close can spark gossip and affect reputations. Ziyu tried to keep her distance, but every time she tried to pull away, her heart betrayed her. She felt like she was in an internal struggle between the professionalism she had to maintain and the feelings that were growing too fast. Some people behind the scenes even teased her, saying that she seemed too concerned about her co-star. Ziyu's reaction at the time was just a small smile, but no one knew how hard she was trying to hide it. Meanwhile, Tian Xuning seemed like someone who was slowly realizing that his presence was affecting someone in a way he hadn't planned. He never intended to make Ziyu fall in love with him, but his natural attitude made their relationship grow warmer. Even in several interviews, Tian Xuning seemed to pause slightly every time he was asked about his relationship with Ziyu. He chose his words carefully, as if afraid of saying something that would make the public even more convinced about what was really going on. On one occasion, when filming lasted late into the night, there was a moment that fans couldn't stop talking about. The cameras had been turned off, most of the crew had started packing up, and only a few people, including Tian Xuning, were still sitting waiting for their ride. Ziyu, who was taking off her microphone, suddenly saw Tian Xuning sitting alone with a tired look on his face. Without saying much, he walked over, sat down beside him, and said softly, "You've worked hard today." Tian Xuning turned his head, smiled slightly, and replied, "You too." It should have been a normal, simple conversation, but the way they looked at each other made everyone who happened to see the scene fall silent. There was an intimacy that couldn't be forced, a presence that couldn't be faked, and an honesty that couldn't be hidden. That small scene later became a hot topic among fans, and many said that if that wasn't love, then love never truly existed. From that moment on, the rumors grew wilder. Some media outlets began to write that the production team had deliberately pushed the two of them together as a couple in order to make their project go viral. However, fans who had been following their interactions from the beginning knew that this theory didn't make sense. It was impossible for someone to be forced to show such a sincere gaze. It was impossible for someone to be told to act protectively in such a natural way. It was impossible for love to be programmed by a script. In the end, the answer to this big question became increasingly clear. No one forced Ziyu to feel that love. Not the producer, not the director, not anyone. The only thing that forced Ziyu was himself, his instincts, his heart, and the way the world seemed to keep pushing him to feel something he couldn't resist. Love grew not because of direction, but because of closeness. Because Tian Xuning was there, close, warm, and so easy to like. And now, the world can only watch as their relationship develops, even without acknowledgement. That love is there, hidden in smiles, in glances that linger too long to be called professional, in a silence that feels comfortable, and in small attentions that appear without command. That love is real, even if they never dare to say it.